And welcome to day 22 of your 30-30. We'll get on our warm-up right away here. We've got 2 minutes easy in your preferred cadence range, 90 to 100 RPM. Hopefully you've been on your bike for a little bit, or if you are doing this workout at home, spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes turning the pedals over before you get right into this workout. So we're in our first 2 minutes, riding easy. Easy means in and around that, let's call it 40% of that maximum aerobic power, 4 out of 10, super easy. Most people fall into the 80 to 100 watt range for this. Leg speed's nice and crisp, 90 to 100. We are spending the entire 30 minutes today in this preferred cadence range. So warming that up right now. Quick body check. Make sure you're not carrying tension through your thoracic spine, your mid-spine, up into your neck. Want to be able to give those elbows a bit of a wiggle. If you find you put a lot of weight on your wrists, this is a nice little stretch out over the top of the bars, just opening up those wrists and landing those shoulders down your back. I like the backward shoulder rolls ending at the bottom of that roll, getting a nice open breathing airway here. And in 30 seconds, we'll add some watts just up to that 50% and spend the next 2 minutes there. So coming from easy, in just over 10 seconds, we'll bring in a few more watts. Still pretty light, still talking pace, but the first little bit of pressure under the pedals here. So let's move that in now, 5 out of 10, 50%. And settling in here. Again, we'll be here for 2 minutes before we add a few more watts. Part of our progressing, putting some pressure under the pedals through this little bit of a warm-up, and then we'll get into our main set, which is fast efforts. We could call it a really low-grade hill or just some progressive watts, all at that preferred cadence range. Coming through the first minute here, still at 50%, still 90 to 100 RPM. And of course, setting up your hydration along the way, finding those moments when you can take a few sips, important at the beginning of the workout, so when things get hard, you've already got some of that in your system. And in 30 seconds, we'll move the watts up to your 60% for another 2 minutes. Ten seconds. And a little more gear here, a little more power, 60%, preferred cadence range, 90 to 100, 2 minutes here. So feeling that little bit of extra load in your quads, hamstrings. If you're feeling it through your back already, that's the time to wake up that power center, support your back using your core. 75% of your core muscles are through your back body. So if you can support your back by drawing that belly button towards the back, that engages those muscles and helps keep you from sagging into your back. One more minute here. And trying to find some settling in your breath. It's a quick rise, but each stage of the way, once you're through the first 30 to 60 seconds, if you can moderate that breathing, helps you stay in control. 30 seconds, then we move up to 70% watts, just for a minute this time. So in 5 seconds, moving your power up to that 70%. 3, 2, 1. Add the wattage. You're still in that preferred cadence range, 90 to 100. 1 minute here, then we'll back it off for 2 more minutes before getting into our main set. So we're still under that hour power here. More of a tempo pace now. Heart rate's up well into that zone 3. "15 seconds. And back the watts off. All the way back to easy. That's the 80 to 100 watts. Try and keep that leg speed up closer to 100 than 90. Gives a really good chance for the blood to move through the body. Bring out some new energy to the legs. So we're here for just over 90 more seconds. Then we'll get into our main set. So what we've got today, don't know if you can see the board or not, but we've got 2 times through, 3 minutes at your 70% watts. So right where we just left off at the preferred cadence. 3 minutes there. Then we increase the watts to 75% for 2 minutes. Everything is staying at that preferred cadence range. Then we go another 2 minutes at 80%. Then using our cadence, we'll increase our leg speed to try and find 85% for 1 minute, 2 minutes easy, then repeat that set. So it's progressively harder and harder, or faster and faster, but we also reduce our duration in those watts. So coming up in just over 30 seconds, we'll be on for our first 3 minutes. So we're going right back to where we ended up in our warm-up at 70% watts. Your choice between 90 and 105 RPM. We're going to get on this one very soon. Start moving through. 15 seconds. So settling into those ideal watts for, or ideal cadence for you. And moving the watts in 3, 2, 1, 70%. So that's a 7 out of 10 effort. If you don't know what that max aerobic power number is for you, it's just below that hour power, that functional threshold of power. Our leg speed is in our preferred cadence range, PC. Meaning where you like to be for that maximal balance between your aerobic output and your muscular output, so that you're not basically over exceeding what you feel comfortable with for breathing or smashing out your legs. It's a nice balance. And coming into the first minute here, So you might envision yourself riding with your club, your group ride. We're heading out together here. We're taking longer times at the front or longer times to move through the group. Pretty casual still, getting our legs underneath us, still able to speak a few words, drink a few drinks, and less than 90 seconds to go. This is our longest piece, the 3 minutes here. Thinking about those pedal circle. If you glance down, knees generally tracking over toes. Our mountain bikers tend to be a little over. Our roadies tend to be a bit in. Triathletes ideally are very level. They don't want to mess with the knees before they get out and run. And in our final minute, in just over 30 seconds, our cadence stays the same, but we lift the watts to that 75%. And then we'll be there for 2 minutes this time. So now we're going to head right into that hour power. In 15 seconds, so try to keep that leg speed pretty much bang on for the entire time until we get to our final minute. And bring up the watts now, 75%. We're 2 minutes here, small adjustment. We're easing up. So as we are out with our group, you can think about what this type of a move means. It either means we hit a little bit of a grade, maybe a little bit more of a false flat, ascending, or a bit of wind, headwind, so we have to go a little harder, or just a faster pace. We're picking it up. Maybe you're moving close to the front, you have less draft. But once you set those gears in place, ideally your group is nice and stable, so you can be nice and stable. No surging and braking. There's through the first minute, 1 more to go. And if you are in a group, you're looking through the wheels in front of you, the occasional glance down, but mostly looking up, being aware of your surroundings. Know what's coming up. Don't rely just on the signaling of the person in front of you. 20 seconds to go. Then we have another power increase to your 80%. And 3, 2, 1. Bring up those watts. Now we are just over that FTP, so we're in a threshold over phase, 80% watts. Still in that preferred cadence range. 2 minutes here before our final 1 minute acceleration, and then we back it off. Glance down, make sure you're not dropping under 90 RPM. As our watts increase, we have a tendency to slow our leg speed down. So the objective here is increasing power while maintaining a nice solid preferred cadence range. And there's 1 minute, 1 more here. Come on, you can do this. Stay on. I wrote in my notes for this workout, mini sufferfest. So hopefully you aren't totally feeling that. Depends what you did earlier today or yesterday. It's not that bad. 30 seconds, then we're increasing our cadence enough to get our watts up to 85%. For those at home, do about a 5 RPM increase, set your watts at 85%, unless your bike moves power with cadence. So that's coming in 15 seconds, and we'll just be there for 1 minute. You're full on in the front, taking a pull into the wind. In 3, 2, 1. Leg speed up, about 5 RPM, or to get it to 85% watts. And then hold on, 1 minute here. Come on, nice pull in the wind. You want to be stable here. If you've got a group behind you, you don't want to be launching off, then pulling back. Ease into it and hold steady. Less than 30 seconds to go. And then we get to go to the back of the group and go downhill. Therefore, it's 2 minutes easy. In 5 seconds, come on, right through. 2, 1, watts off, right back to easy. 2 minutes recovery. So that was a progressive pace line, we could call it, or progressive false flat, wind, lots of different scenarios you can envision with this one. A lot of practice, the opposite of working through the same power at different cadences. This is different power at the same cadences. And coming up to our first minute, make sure you're right backed off. Get the recovery here. We're going to head for round 2, back to the 3 minutes at your 70%. Again, at that preferred cadence, 90 to 100, 105 being the top end of that range. Our weather is very dynamic right now. 1 minute we're hot, 1 minute we're cold. So you need to adjust your riding climate accordingly, and possibly even your hydration strategy. If you're sweating more, drink a little more, add a little sodium. We've got 20 seconds till we're back to the second time through, top of this main set. So beginning to move some watts through now, finding up through 50%, settling in on those RPMs of your choice over 90. And 3, 2, 1, rest of the watts in, 70%. We're here for 3 minutes, near the back of our group. Depending on the season, if you're riding this in winter season, it's been a lot of outdoor, not so much, or I mean a lot of indoor, not so much outdoor. So we sometimes get a little out of practice for our group riding strategies. It's nice to just put that little TV in your head, picture the roads that you like to ride, and picture the people that you're out with and how you're tackling this. You want to be the consistent, reliable person, welcome in the group. And we're through the first minute, 2 to go. Still at 70% watts. Generally, when you're sitting in the group, you're in your hoods, still relaxed. You don't want to fixate on that wheel in front, but you don't want to ignore it altogether. Our eyes can do some amazing things for where our body goes. So if we look down at that wheel too much, we might ride ourselves right into it. Or if we're looking too much off to this direction, that direction, you need to work on that. And again, that's where your core comes into place, keeping you aligned on your bike, even if you're doing something different up here. Just over a minute more. Nice work, nice and steady. And in shoulder season riding, you might be outside, you might have started cold, so you had all your layers on, then you took off something like jacket, put it in your back pocket, and now the sleeve's hanging out, and it's falling into your drivetrain. So always looking around for that as well, being mindful of safety out there. It's not just about you riding the bike, it's about all your stuff. And 20 seconds, we're making that watt change up to 75%. And 3, 2, 1, add some watts. Still 90 to 100 or so RPM. Try and keep that cadence stable for you. A lot of us find ourselves gravitating to the low 90s, but that's perfect. Nice work, nice and steady here. Perhaps you've moved up to about the 5th position and then the 4th of a large group. It could have been 10, 15 plus, which is why it gets a little harder as you get a little closer to the front. There's 1 minute, 1 more to go. Are you still breathing smoothly? Have you been able to settle in here enough that you can breathe in through your nose a couple times? Out through the mouth. 30 seconds. Then we're up to 80% watts. Still preferred cadence. And you're looking up the road here, you see that move. Someone's come off the front. You will be pushing through here, up the line in 5 seconds, feeling a little more of the wind or a little more of the grade. 3, 2, 1, adding the watts, 80%. Another 2 minutes here. Then we have our 1 minute pull. We're in the 3rd position, then the 2nd position. Our final minute, we're up at the front. Don't let that cadence drop. You're still 90 plus. Nice and smooth. Being hyper alert up here. At this point, knowing that you are going to be moving to the front, you may begin shoulder checking, see what the traffic situation's like, so you know what's coming up. Less than a minute to go here. Then our final pull at the front. Again, it will be that cadence increase by about 4 RPM, or what you need to get to 85% watts. You're in the second position now. So now you need to pay attention to the person in front of you, looking for that chicken wing. They're going to signal on the side that you come through at. They will shoulder check first, chicken wing, come off, and you ease through. In 5, 3, 2, 1. Cadence increase, 85% watts. You're at the front for 1 minute. Come on, nice and steady. As soon as you hit that target, which to the people behind you shouldn't feel any different. You're steady, your cadence is steady, you're just the one in the elements. Come on. 30 seconds. Final piece. You can see that descent coming up, and your turn to sit on. "15 seconds. Taking your full minute. Shoulder check, chicken wing, and we're off. Right to the back, watts off. 2 minutes easy. And that is 30 minutes. Just like that. Great set to do. Covers off a lot. Get a good sweat going. A good amount of time in that preferred cadence range. Riding easy. Just finishing this off here. If you're descending in the group, when you're turning the pedals over really lightly like this, you may not be wheel to wheel. You might give a tiny bit more of a gap. You still get quite a draft on a descent. Important to know that too. Just being hyper aware. And if you're game, we've got 1 more minute easy. Who isn't game for another minute easy? And congrats to everyone here. You are 3/4 through your 30-30. If you are someone who has been following chronologically, or even if you're picking up some workouts here and there, this is where we're at today, another high intensity day. And final 25 seconds. Coffee shops just ahead. And if you're getting off your bike, you can wind down now. Do some stretching, digging into your figure 4. That's our stretch of the day today. Doing your figure 4, either standing or lying on your back, or it could be a modified pigeon with your one leg up on the arm of a couch or your bed. You need it to be ideally as horizontal as possible. That's knee to ankle. Our stiffness comes, we're like this, my elbow is my knee. So if that is like that, you're probably too high if you've got that raised. We're working on that flexibility within the adductors, but also opening up your glutes. That really supports everything going on back here. So as, in particular, piriformis. All right, so that's a wrap for today.